嘅 message 一次過掟翻去嚇，記唔記得個點等於啊嗰個做法咯？咁就將所有呢啲窿咧，你填翻晒佢，所有嘅 model 啊，全部呢啲要即係 post 過嚟嘅嘢，執晒落去之後就 save 落去 database 度咯。呢句就係啦。咁 suppose 你都會 show 俾我睇，喺你個 database 度真係收到嘅喎。唔係呢個，係咯，即係喺呢度咯。你要 show 俾我睇咯，即係嗰扎嘅 record 全部喺度 list 收出嚟咯。咁當時咧 all from reservation 嘅時候就係咁啦，即係個要求啊。咁我係以做一做啦。咁佢話 please fill in 啊，唔俾我走㗎啦呢個。咁我時間關係啊，我隨便揀個，跟住去入去。佢出咗嚟呢個，然後咧就 new record create successfully，然後我睇睇嗰個唔係呢個，睇先嗰個喺邊度啊？隔離係咁咧，一個 refresh 下佢啦。咁你見到有一隻 record 啦，就我打入去個 file name 啊，係 store 喺2度嘅個 pickup date 就咧3月16號做咗咯，咪就係咁咯。OK， 好啦，咁時間關係已經到呢個夠鐘，咁有冇問題想問？冇就落堂。So time's up. Let's dismiss the class. So you can start your work now. Pen beforehand. Write down all the steps and the scripts and test case, etc. To do it once. You will be an expert from for after each exercise. Okay. Bye bye. Bye, class A. So, hello, class C. OK 我估啲差唔多㗎啦，刪呢個先。冇問題啦 ，close 佢先啦。呢個遲少少先講啦。OK，先啊。Hello, so you can hear me now. That's good. Today we some more. Okay, fine. Thanks for your greeting. Today's tutorial 6. Our agenda is firstly review the tutorial 5, and then we'll go through the requirements, the mistakes found, and beyond the mistake, I find some good points from you and some marking trends that remind you to focus or beware about that. And lastly, I show you my suggestion on the test case table. Is required now. Show whether the test case in table. So if you don't show, no mark for that section. And after that, we will go through the tutorial 6. Yes, this one, tutorial 6. and perhaps some demo of the here it is the of the new. This is the new tutorial 6 assignment. This is the tutorial 5 one. A little bit different. Here we see the section. Okay. Is there any question? If no, then let's see the review of tutorial 5. Requirement 1. Of course, I copy from the video link, video recording submission on Moodle. I delete some default requirement, only those relevant. Okay, is being kept here. So the first one is that define the length of your video recording should be within 3 minutes. Okay, as I will say that if you still can keep it within 10% more, then I still can give you some marks, although it's not full mark for this section. Otherwise, that means more than 10% won't give any marks for that section. So beware about that. Control your time or using some video editor to chop out those useless. And or you have to better plan your presentation beforehand. Stay all your works there and or spread on the screen just by clicking, and you can show me within 1 to 2 seconds. That's enough, since I can pause the screen to read the detail. But you have to show that from top to bottom at least once for me. Don't assume me knowing everything. Just treat me an idiot, okay? And show me at least once, then I know about that you know you do something. You did something, okay, or in the correct way, hopefully. And the second one is showing your profile in Moodle. Most of you can be so. Of course, it doesn't technical, but still some of you, a few of you, forget about that. It's pity. Okay. So use your voice. So you see that voice is now a required, or you may even say it's a must, to explain how your cooks works. Okay. So you are not so good in English, then you have better to write it down in the script and read it out. I don't mind. I don't mind. So far, I heard your voice and I'll give you the mark. Okay. Don't care about the grammatical mistakes. We assume that, but the essential thing is you can tell your story. And with the aid of the Notepad++, you can list all the script there. We can read the script and know that what you are talking about. So show us the script and you read it out once, and then you got the mark. Okay, it should not be difficult, since you know that in your examination you write a lot, right? Don't you? Okay. And the hints is to put your cook window side by side, with the output window. So as I said, spread all those things on the window, so you can just click one and show all on the screen. Don't use full screen mode. It will usually not to be so. For example, this one, you can even shrink it into a small window in this way. I cannot do it here. Yeah. Oops. Touching other controls. Anyway, now you can even shrink it to a very small size. It's okay. I don't mind. So as far as you can tell me the story, just this simple way of presentation is acceptable. You know, don't use full screen mode anymore. As is they stay here, the script and as your explanation. And highlight the code simply by selecting the text. Just like me now I'm doing, I highlight the text so you knowing which point I'm talking about. And zoom in and scroll the window if necessary. If you, as last time, as I've told you to make use of such a zoom in or a magnifier from window itself, you can make use of such tools so that you zoom in like that to let it be readable. And also you can make use of the larger uh, font size. It's up to you. Uh, and the fourth one is make sure you review your video before you submit. This, I think, is considerate. Some of you are so egocentric. You are demonstrate to yourself, not to us. So you know, or you assume everything you know. But as I said before, you should treat me as an idiot, not including Dr. Wong. So don't assume anything. Treat me as a layman, okay? And the next one is it should cover all the steps, okay? What is all the steps? The steps you have to specify. Like here, I specify the requirements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Why can't you? Uh, so you list out all the steps and go through them one by one. It should not be a very difficult task. And the text in the video can be clearly seen. Okay, that is the standard. You may treat it as a pity for old man where our eyesight is not good. Okay, and then test your code using a wallet day. Okay, that's okay. Most of you do so. Fine. I think all of you do so. However, how about invalid days? Only a few of you input the invalid days. As I mentioned before, you input true value, and then got the true output. You enter the false value and got the false output, right? That's you should do it in both ways. And you that means if you enter true value and got the false result, or in the other way, enter false value and got true result, then your code is garbage. Okay, so you have to prove that to your client, your supervisor, your manager, or to me. You should be capable to do so. In exercise, in moderate days are the days outside the range of the line 12. So you have to test it as you see in the code that the line 12 is mean that is staying there less than 2022. However, you can of course change excuse me 2023, then everything works. But of course it's not a a good practice, as I mentioned in the mistakes. However, I would still give full marks if you can change it to 2023 or just equal to 2020. Is the baseline or the minimum specified by Dr. Wong that it is acceptable. So I will give full marks. But for myself, I don't treat it as a good practice for you. You should think about at the year end. For example, you're using 2022, and at the year end, there's no one can order from your your e-commerce online store. Since on the December, then any delivery on the next January will not be allowed, right? So this should not be a good result that we want to get. But that's why I state my challenge to you. So beware about that. I'm not paying you that you are not following my instruction. So that I give you full mark here. If even you give just 2023 or equals to 2020, it's okay. But don't. I think you should improve that next time. Okay. So user can enter any days in the current year in which the exercise is completed. Yes, but here you see that that's a trick. If you are entering the dates of the back day, that means yeah, for example, yesterday. How can you pick your goods on yesterday when you are ordering today? So it's impossible, at least in this current technology. 即係冇法即係你穿越翻去古代啊，係嘛？做翻即係呢個多餘嘅啫。我用呢個咁嘅講法都咁大家明㗎啦。So you cannot be time travel, right? At least in the current technology level. So you should not do so. What I mean that your system should not allow anyone to do so. So I think this is reasonable and common sense. Okay, here are the mistakes that I found. Basically, they are all concentrated around the pickup day. It should not. Sorry, let me see. There's a question from you guys. Let me see what's talking about. When will the mark be released? I finished my marking. It's up to Dr. Wong's decision. Okay. Always be so. I have to report to him. And marking is, of course, as mentioned, mostly very good and 100% have been have given to some of you. I don't reserve about that, of course. I need not to be. 又同我有問題啊？睇下咩問題先。Okay, good. Okay, fine. 邊？又有問題？點解咁嘅？好。Okay, let's pick up in the mistakes. Okay, most of them, or nearly all of them, concentrate on the pick up the end day. Since we only test for that, and it's required, so most of mistakes come up from there. Okay, the first one is testing the pickup dates within a month by adding one is dangerous. Considering about how can you determine the next month is January if you are in December, you're using some integer, right? How can you do that? It's ridiculous. Another one is year equals to 2020, more than or equal to and the year is less than 2020. That's you can use this condition to make sure that the entry is stick within this year. However, why not you using much simpler way is just year equals to 2020, and it save you at least one more condition testing time. Okay, pick up day. Pick up day. Someone insert in one day. That's good. However, the strange thing is it can get through. Here here the picture is the screen dump that I capture. You see that it really get through. I don't know why. Perhaps you have some browser setting that allow you to do so, but it's dangerous. It should not be, right? And all your tracking is invalid by that means. Uh, I don't know why. How can you do it? But it works, huh? Uh, I hope you is certainly a way that not allowed. You give me a false positive. Okay. Backday reservation should be avoided, as I mentioned. So you should make reasonable assumption by common sense. That is implement in your code that you can tell me that what you are assume or and guard against. Okay. Simple things. Perhaps I let me show it full screen and bump up the screen resolution so that you can see when I can also read the user your questions side by side. Okay. And the next one is no question, no comment, no script, no voice. Of course, it just mouse movement is now not sufficiently anymore. So avoid using this kind of practice. Okay, it won't help. Wait a while. I have to set something. Not in this screen. Intruders. Yes. Oh, fine. Fine now. Okay. User-based input is suspected. So we use the try catch, the pick up buffer day from. I give this name and this pick up buffer day 2 for my challenge. As I mentioned, that you should be considerate that the stock may not be available in the store. So you should give me some buffer for the system to for the connect to collect those and deliver or to the store um, uh, on time. So I give the name pick up buffer day from and pick up buffer day 2. However, these 2 days should not be tested within the try catch because it's simply that of course user input is suspected, so we have to test against it. However, these 2 days are determined by us, so why should we test it ourselves? It's ridiculous. So, but one of you test it inside try catch, you will make your system slow without positive result. Okay. And also the pick up buffer day from should not be labeled as 3 days later. I understand that my challenge is saying that give a reasonable time of 3 days, but I don't think you should label the value as on the label. 3 days later. What about someday the delivery policy change from 3 days to 2 days, and then uh, you have will you be able to or allowed to your manager will not approve about that to change the name from 3 days to 2 days. This is not a good practice. and you will even confusing any followers who don't know about the previous policy change. Okay, so it's not a good practice. You can't tell them and ask them to read the document yourself. This is irresponsible. Uh, someday you may left the company for any reason, then the new guy replacing you have to read the when it have to fix the problem or debug for something else. So and he read the code that you written there is 3 days later, then it's not a good label. Instead, I suggest you here pick the buffer day from. So pick up buffer day from. Is more illustrative by its name. Comprehensive. I mean comprehensive by its name, and also such kind of dates, whether it's 3 days or 2 days, doesn't matter. It should be governed by some kind of policy. So I stay underneath here. Perhaps let me jump, scroll up here. Yes, finally. I stay here is the pick up buffer day from to policy. It should not be hard cooked. Should not be hard cooked. It should be included in somewhere else. So you have to include it once. And it should be a global one. So you change once, and the whole system will update by that means. Okay. And the next one is the year is equals to date y, and I think this is not good. Not it's better than the one that using the year equal to 2020. Although I have mentioned that this one is better than that one, but even that one, even this one is not good. Uh, you can using this one. Why? Because you cannot update persistently every year, right? This is not a normal task for you as a developer. You cannot ask for a budget for you to update all your programs yearly. It is not a reason to employ you for a lifetime, right? So you have to better make use of some kind of auto update mechanism instead of hard cooked there. Okay, even you are, as I mentioned, using some kind of policy to do so. This is not the right case of such application. So or implementation. So you have better to consider using some moving target way. However, I'm not telling you that is this ultimate way or good a still is not a good practice. But I will tell you later, of course. But it's still better than cook 係咪同我嘅問題？如果唔係你閂咗咪佢啊，麻煩你。Okay. So yet it will force your client to does no business at the year end. So you know that on December, for example, your client, the possible client make an order may cross the year, and then you find that there's no business can be done, or even you using this one cannot be doing, but just better than 2020. So this is kind of technical depths. You are doing the one that accumulating such depths in your future jobs. So I suggest you don't do so. Don't do so, and don't rely on your supervisor to check this out. You will gut brain if he or she find it, and if he cannot or you maybe too busy to overlook your thoughts, then it's still your responsibility to figure this out. That's why I gave you my challenge last section, in order to totally avoid such mistakes. This is a practice that you have to avoid. Otherwise, you are accumulating your technical debts. In the long run, you have to quit your job to avoid the responsibility. However, in the other occasion, you still facing such technical jobs by any colleague. That's like you in the last section. Okay, in his last or her last session. Okay, the pick up buffer days from policy. I saw some a very special case. Is saying that the days one, it apply my challenge using pick up buffer day from two way. The from day is the day one. The 2 day is the day two. But the problem is he using a second hard coded way to tell the time, and it's only apply for that day he create this program. Uh, After that, it can all gone wrong. So it can all go wrong. Okay, so I don't recommend you use this approach at all. Um, so it as I mentioned, I'm not. I would rather suggest you to make it a kind of variable, not hard code, and be easy to update in the beginning of your program. So you can need not to read the whole program, just update the parameter or the variable defined on the very beginning, and that's which would be much better. And test the wrong attribute. Uh, uh, in conclusion, the whole pickup day problem should not be separately tested. They should be all be tested in the as a whole. YMD, that means year, month, day all together, should not be separate. Once you separate them, you got they are meaningless, because they will give you a wrong hope about, and it's a kind of false positive. Uh, okay, there's no problem, it seems, but in fact, you are making a trap for you yourself, or for the next follower, and for business. That means your client. How can they pay you money? Uh, so here is another example for a guy who would like to adopt my challenge, but he do it in the wrong way. He stay with a minimum and a maximum of to define the boundary of my ordering range day. Okay, he used the dates as the minimum and used the month as the maximum. I mentioned that within 3 days later, and the boundary is 1 month later. Okay, okay, within this range. But this is natural language. When you translate into your program, you you are using extract the dates and to compare with the month. Then this will be a ridiculous situation beyond where does it exist or happen. This one, of course, okay, doesn't matter, the original one. But after that, all are not okay. It become a mess. Okay, okay. Let's see. Firstly, using 2023 as the question required, then you can accept that. If you don't have the letter parts, I will give you full marks for that. Okay, just that, because Dr. Wong allow this is the minimum. However, when you using all of them together, then this is another question. You are messing up and collide all those days together. One you are this one is the moving target. You know, the original, I mean, the pick up buffer day from to policy is a moving target. But this is the hard cooked, so they are in conflict first of all, and just looking at the moving target solution, you can see that the date is smaller than larger than the minimum. If you are talking about the days of your programming, maybe, and the month is less than the max, maybe okay. But how about uh, some the next month or some days later, uh, then is not a good not a good thing. For example, at the month end, near the month end, then your days would be how can you say? For example, when you order in 28, then you add 3 days. What is the 3 days? 3 days is 29, 30, and 31. The day should be less more than 31. Then is it the 32? How can you think about a month with 32 days? There's no such days. So you encounter problem at the month end. Uh, uh, so you how can you be reasonable? You setting a trap for yourself. Uh, Only valid for the days you write your program. This is a wrong implementation. Okay. So the year less than 2023 need not be tested furthermore if you are adopting the moving target buffer day from two is applied. So avoid that logic problem. What you are thinking about if you are using, let me repeat. If you are using, you should treat it as a whole and then establish a moving target scheme such like the from to dates policy. Don't hack on it and don't label it as the one that is cannot be changed later and confusing others for all the following. They even they know the solution. You are wrongly label it. They are afraid not they were not willing to change it because if they don't know whether this label will be affect other programs as well. So the such as mistakes will accumulate for a long term until your whole system is replaced by another one. Then perhaps the next nightmare begin. Okay, after such disappointing mistakes being mentioned, let's talk about some good points I find, and it's more than my expectation. So I would like to stay here for your reference. Firstly, this one reduce the round trip time using HTML, which means just enforcing the validation in the front end. That is the input the pick update. What is the student doing is he set a minimum in the HTML and the maximum. That means bounding the pickup time from beginning, so that you can echo the date YMD. That means from today, and the maximum, of course, 1 month later maybe, or 2 weeks later, up to you. It can be modified directly in the PHP code, right? Even better one is using this YMD. As I mentioned, plus 3 day may not be a good practice, but you can using a string to be or using a policy type to replace this string variable. Then you can govern or control the user not to enter the days lesser than the buffer day from, okay? Also the maximum, beyond, not beyond the maximum day 2. Otherwise, it is out of your control. And at least it guaranteeing the quality without bothering the server to check it for you. The round trip time may take a long, that not bearable for a user, and suggesting them to quit or replacing their preference. Okay, require other fields is reasonable. One of the student asking the user to enter also the flame field as well as the store field as required. The current one is are not required. You can enter or not. It's up to you. But you will see in the future that in tutorial 6, all of the fields are required now. Okay, in the validation result, suggest the dates format is a considerate practice. That is, even in your submission is getting passed. For the pickup day, what kind of the sequence of the year, month, day would be present? So it gives a label besides, and so that the user know the correct the position of the month and the date, since it used to be mixed up there, right? And also reflow the original logic if to speed up the validation form simple. What I mean, let me show you. Here it is. Is it this one? Yeah. Validation simple. Yeah. Here it is. My so-called model answer, you may say. My suggest answer. You see that, or perhaps let me zoom in a bit. We allocated those this section echo. Sorry, this echo function section inside the day checking. I check it first, then do it later. Instead of do it first, check it later. So it would save you some time. If it's not valid, then it will immediately return back to the as the header specified. Okay, and saving the a few seconds for the CPU and with round trip time of the internet. Okay, so I will suggest you to think about it in that way. So your program would be keep in high quality. And VSC. Okay, some of you don't know about. I find not make use of the advanced function of the VSC. Some of you may use this one and that flipping the content. However, if you are thinking about there's some more empty space around, you can make use of it by splitting the screen. This is the button. Click on it, and you will see that this program is split into two. They are the same. Let me show you. This, you see, they both appear simultaneously. What they can help is when you scroll down, when you have to scroll down with a long program, then the bottom and the front and the top are being shown that simultaneously. You can reference your cooks side by side, the top to bottom, okay, or even other sides, other in those segments in the middle. And this is not the end. You can also split into 3 or n tabs, okay. And also you can, of course, we referring to other programs, not only the original one. And closing it is also simple. Just click on a cross, and then the original still keep there. No, no, no saving. Of course, you have to save it yourself. And also because there's tab there, you can open a folder or not. It depends on you. For example, I open this one. Do you want to save change? Save, yeah. Okay. Uh, click once, click twice, and is see you can do this and that way. So you know that how to make use of it. And if you find that this is not appropriate, you can just close it by clicking on it, and that's it. That's the way. Okay. So you can turn off the file listing, how to split editor side by side, and so on. And so far, is there any question? Okay, let me see. We can see the feedback in Moodle. We can't see it. I don't know why. I give you some some of you in some certain place where there's well, you can improve. We tell what's the where the problem is talking about, but I cannot control that. Perhaps let me ask Dr. Wong about this Moodle setting. Is it just your score or not? 我唔知道 Moodle 嗰度嗰個機制點樣俾你睇到，我以為你已經可以睇到添。咁就話同阿 Doctor Wong 問問佢啦，點解啦？有啲 comment 我俾咗㗎啦已經。If the customer and the web server are in different time zone, will there be any inconsistency in calculating the time? It should not. It should not. Because it's based on the so-called epoch Unix epoch time base. What you see on screen is just the time zones. You may say that the local time zone being displayed. That is that's not should not be a problem. I think I haven't tested your inconsistency, but as you know, there's a Laravel that is for e-commerce. Your problem is should be resolved by that, and I think the PHP server is already figured this time zone problem out already. So I think it's okay. It should be resolved. Is there any question? Okay. Let's see the marking trend. So in my marking scheme, I find that there are some trends. The video time limit for 3 minutes, the constraint, and it's one more allowance for if your video is more than within 10%, is still acceptable, but less mark. However, if you are more than 10%, for example, 11%, then there's will have no mark in that section. So beware about that. Don't get as much as possible. And also showing me your Moodle profile. Just one of you don't do so. In this in the last case, you may tutorial 5. I mean, um, lesser people not doing so. This is a good sign, but I hope you guys follow us follow strict in your video recording by following a list of steps to do so. Be planning in advance. Also, the code correctness. I think this is just bonus section because you copy the code from the question. So how can it be incorrect? That's the one that it should be grab. However, as I mentioned in the previous one, that is there is when you change it to otherwise, such as the one that I suggest using the pickup buffer time of day from 2. Okay, then there is a case of incorrectness. So for those who take my approach, but coding it incorrectly, perhaps very serious logical problem, then it would still have some marks being deducted by that way. And explain in the comment, script or voice or etc. on screen. So as mentioned before, you have to zoom in also with a script or strings side by side, showing the result and the question. Therefore, are all connected in this explanation. Spelling and grammar mistake. So this all, I think this is also a kind of bonus, because if you don't speak at all, then there's no spelling mistake or grammatical mistake can be found. So if you are perhaps an explanation is only a brief mouse movement, you may get a spelling or grammatical mistake in a high full mark. But I don't think you should do so, because both these two items should be achieved at the same time in order to get the highest mark. Okay, and test out all the case. As I mentioned, not only the valid one, also the invalid ones. Okay, and last one is you have to do, in fact, some 2 exercise before. Show the test case in table. Here is the example I shown here. Some possible test case I have shown a suggestion, you may say, but I think you I still give a full mark for those who just list those in looks purpose to tell me that they are following the steps or all the test case to test run. That's good practice. Although they not all of them just including invalid case. Only a few including a few invalid case in the test case table. So even even you are not in table format, that's okay. I still give you marks. But if you can stay in a table format, then that's much better. You give me a much clear impression. Okay, and also you assume you are using Microsoft Word. Otherwise, how can you do this in Notepad++? It's difficult. Okay, and okay. Let's see. Or perhaps let's go through this case. Since the time, there's no need for you to see the testing it once again. I have tested before, right? So except the invalid one. So let's see. Submit without any selection. That means just click the submission button and then watch what will happen. You can stay in the output that the required message pumps. Since it's required, so it won't allow you not to submit anything. I mean the pickup date. Okay, so it will be shown there. And another case is kicking the reset key. In this manner, the assumption is all the controls on screen should be tested at least once. Okay. So most of you forget about the reset key. Or, although we all know about how reset key works, but in the practice, just kicking once is only a few seconds of time, so you can afford it. Should you enter some of the field and press the reset button, so and all the fields modified return to the default state without any message. So the third one is the first name can be entered and stored default selection shown and wallet day entry. So you see, enter time and store with using the default entry. That's the one, okay. And the entry day, wallet entry day is the day. Sorry, the day entry should be wallet, okay. And here I follow my challenge using 3 days later as the entry day, and then the result should be a positive. And time and one, there is a hill crash more, and the 3 days later day should be shown as my. Beyond that, we have as the first name have been entered. What about log enter? So I blank here for a next case. And store one is being selected in the last occasion. Then the store two should be selected in this case now. So the store select the metro mall and also the holiday and the blank is blank. The Metro Hall got number 2, and 3 days later keep enter 3 days later. And the pickup dates, the case 5, pickup day start less than 3 days later is invalid. As I mentioned, perhaps I should code it here. 3 days later should be 3 days later. Okay, so we pick 2 days later instead of the 3 days later. It should go wrong, right? So you see that invalid reset the retries, okay? And of course, the previous two have been tested. I mean the key, the controls. So I need not to repeat those controls from the case 5 onward, okay? So they are mixed together. And you see that wallet entry, in wallet entry, for the starting pickup date from, and the next two are the pickup date to buffer, and the pickup day end within a month. So within 30 days is wallet. So this folder case is being tested, and the result is wallet. And how about the more than beyond 30 days? So I picked the 31 days later from today is invalid. So it reset the entry. So it proved that my checking is correct. And how about the invalid dates cannot get through? So you see that you pick up enter some dates. For example, April 31, and what would it be? And the message should be that it's come from the HTML. You have to require the message from that the day is invalid, huh? Or perhaps let me show you the result. Let's see. Reserve simple. Yeah, this one. Although it's very small, or perhaps let me showing it full screen. Okay, I enter in wallet day. How can I do it? Perhaps this one. How about 4? See, April 31. There's no such a date. It's in wallet, right? Reserve. Oh, sorry. Cannot. Okay. That's the required message prompts. Okay. Perhaps let me even using. Sorry. This one being using. Okay. Is it okay? Now you understand how to make a in wallet day entry, and so that's the review, And is there any question? So let me show you the program code. Oh yeah, I've closed the. So let me show you. This should be closed, and close, and open the folder. That is the T5. Okay. No item. So select the folder. Okay, that's fine. Why? Tell me why. Yeah, here it is. We serve simple and wallet day simple. Okay. Get start. Get stroke. Perhaps let me show you another way. We serve simple. Okay, that's fine. Let me zoom in for you. Okay, here I think this need not be mentioned. They are the same. And how about the validation? Yeah, here it is. As I shown in my mistakes section that I should I I think the pick up from and pick up to date should be a string that governing the data that the variable. Okay, it should be located on top of the function. And otherwise, it should even better if this should be a global variable and being set in the PHP policy to include once in order to make use of it as based on the requirement. And so that you see that they are being used underneath. And therefore, you should not hard code inside the program. At least you can move it up to the top of inside your function or your program. Okay, not inside, but outside on top. That's better. And next one is this one I have shown you. I make the code segment, move it inside. So if it is to be thank you, then all those codes would be shown. Otherwise, it will save your time and just return to the header one that mentioned. It will save you some logic. Okay, that's the demo. And one more thing is, in fact, Dr. Wong later give me an answer, a model answer, mentioning about this tool. Here, as you see that in the top, there are many lines, right, to check the state problem. However, you see here, is make use of the date times parents function created from format, and this one seems to be the one that can uh, extract the element out. That is the try catch part, and then and it can also check the Gregorian calendar here together. Then it saves you a lot of routines. There's over using over and over again. That's not necessary. And here it tests it out directly. And also, it when it returns, it also check with the original entry that if they are both correct, then they can be uh, treated as a trustworthy customer, and accept it. Otherwise, they will return false, and so it's more elegant. You may say, okay, I'm not sure you can get this model answer or not. If so, then that's good. If not, someday you may find this kind of function in your career. Anyway, this is the way. And returning to our tutorial, so perhaps let us have a 5 minute break, okay? Before we continue. Okay, 5 minutes. So 11, 12 to resume. So you maybe stop another. Okay, return on. Okay, let's resume our discussion on the tutorial 6. Okay, um, sorry, not this one. Tutorial 5, tutorial 6. Yeah, I think you can download from the tutorial on the Moodle. But besides this tutorial 6, you have to understand that in Moodle there is 2 more files. Let me show you. This one. No. This is the requirement. The requirement. Yeah, here it is. There are 2 more files for you to download. The reserve simple.ss section. It means validate form simple section. Okay, download these 2 files as well. You have to do your works with them. Okay, and also the video submission link. There are some more hints or the requirement that you have to fulfill. Okay, firstly, let's see the, the document first. You have already learned to use section, header, and the MySQL interface to create application PHP, right? So you can make use of them now, integrate all of what you learned before. In tutorial 4, we have some instruction on setting up the MySQL database and the table, right? Make use of those skills and created the program. The required things that can let you complete this program. You don't assume that there's no error. Some you may even assume there's traps for you to fix. Okay, at least beyond the errors, you can improve the result. Okay. For the steps below to finish the tutorial, refer to lesson slides for the concept and commands. The slide number refer to those in the lesson 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then we skip to the final requirement. This is important. You have to read it through. Edit the file. Wallet form simple SESS. Let me show you. That's the 1 and 2. Okay. Basically, it is the same one or similar one as before. However, in the last session, only the date is required. Now you have to set all the fields be required. Beyond that, what's the mean by all the fields? It's not only the first name. You should also include the last name, model, email, mobile as well. Your mobile phone number, that is, and guard it against any blank. That means all must be required, and even required that if someone enter a space there. Is it okay? Of course, no. You have to check them all out in the reserve validation. Sorry, the validation form, simple. It says, okay, what is the validation form simple? Let's see. Of course, you have to change the name here, your student ID, etc. Your name and the ID. Okay. This is the validation form simple. That the one of the files that I asked you to download together. Here it checks the file first name whether it's empty or not. But here, as it's mentioned, all are required now. So including the new ones and the old ones all together should have to be locked empty, okay, and all be checked in this manner, and then connect the database The database name should be this one. SEHSS 4517。睇下先，有啲咩同學有問題。Then why the doc writes that we can ignore those fields if we need to check them? Why the doc writes that we can ignore those fields if we need to check them? 我唔知喎，有等陣先。呢度就冇，睇下嗰個網上嘅有冇先。呢度好似冇寫到喎。Edit 呢度。So that all the fields are checked so that you are non-blank. If they are blank and show the message, yeah, you can ignore the following fields. 佢 check first name 呢4個 field 咧就冇我唔係好 sure，不過嗱我估啦，佢呢4個 field 如果係入嚟嘅時候咧，就係嗱 all the fields 啊，呢度寫明 all the fields 啊 all 啦，non-blank checked so they are non-blank。OK， 咁如果你係佢 blank 嘅話，就要有 message。咁呢個當然係喺後台做㗎啦 ，PHP 啦。咁但係 ignore the following field。我就估唔到喎，呢個係我理解就係所有 field 都應該要 non-blank。如果係 blank 嘅話，就要 show ignore the field。咁講法嗱，如果係咁啦，兩邊夾埋啦，就即係話新嘅除呢4個 field 之外，其他剩翻嗰啲就見到啦 ，mobile、last name、email、mobile， 即係話呢3個 store、file、first name 同埋 date 都要 check 咯，即係呢個 first name 有啦，另外就加埋個 store 同埋個 date 啦，OK 得唔得？我諗我可以咁樣答你啦。